know, as a kid, man, I was a visionary, but sometimes being a visionary was painful. Because I can always see what I wanted to go in my life, I can always see what I wanted to become, but I always had to come back and deal with the raw reality of life. And the raw reality of life is this: no matter what I did on the football field, no matter what I did on the basketball court, every night I came back to 125 Warren Street, I was sleeping on that floor with roaches and rats. And so sometimes it was painful. And so just about every night my mother would pull into that park and she'd be driving this old Buick Regal, hubcaps all the car seats all torn up, car was all beat up, but we loved it. All right, and my mother would put that car in park and I would hop up off that bench, I would sprint over to my mother, I would give her the biggest hug and the biggest kiss that I could give her. And I would say, Mom, if you don't mind, can you please sit back in your car and turn on your car lights? I have to do some extra drills, I have to go to the NFL. She would never have to work another day in your life. And I knew my mother was tired. But every night my mother would say, sure, ain't it? And she would get back in that Buick Regal and those car lights would hit that field where he had this 7-year-old kid doing backpedaling drills, running sprints, running laps, chasing his dream to the NFL. That's why anytime a cat see me speak about the game of football, I can't hold the passion because it's real to me. You see, I was really in the park with my mother when I was 7 years old. There was nobody out there but me, my mother, and God, and I was right there chasing the dream. My mother was sitting in a Buick Regal, and she had her car lights on. That's why anytime I played the game, anytime I stepped in between the lines, I gave everything I had. It had nothing to do with Inky Johnson, had nothing to do with the people in the stands, had everything to do with my mother when I was 7 years old, and she was sitting in that park with those car lights on, and she made a sacrifice for me that I had to honor the rest of my life. You see, I'm one to honor sacrifices. I believe in that. When a person makes a sacrifice for you, a person don't have to do that. You see, we live in this younger generation. I tell the younger generation they live in this Burger King society. They want to have it their way, right? And so they got the $1 million dream with the minimum wage work ethic. They missed it, yeah, they got the $1 million dream with the minimum wage work ethic, right? They want to wish for it more than they're willing to work for it. Want to hope for it more than they're willing to work for it. But the thing about it is, when you look at everything with a Colossians 3:23 mindset, and so what I mean by Colossians 3:23 mindset, and you can look at every aspect of life, whether it's your work, whether it's your family, whether it's your job, whatever it may be, if you look at everything with a Colossians 3:23 mindset, it makes everything have a purpose that's greater than yourself. And what Colossians 3:23 is I do everything as if I'm doing it for the Lord and not for man. And so now when I do everything as if I'm doing it for the Lord and not for man, you don't matter anymore. Because people can say things to you that can hurt you, people can do things to you that can hurt you, but if my purpose is greater than you, it does not matter what you say to me. I'm operating with a purpose that's greater than myself, operating with a purpose that's greater than you. And so now every day I get up, I can't help but to give everything I got as a father. I can't help but to give everything I got as a husband. I can't help but to give everything I got as a man because I'm living with a purpose that's greater than myself. You see, a lot of people, they're moved, they're like a puppet. They're like a puppet and their boss is the puppet master. Come on now. And so he might say something to you and you don't like it and it might mess up your whole day. And now you rude to your kids, now you rude to everybody you come in contact with. You got a coworker, they might say something to you, they the puppet master. They playing with you, they playing with your emotion, they playing with your feelings. You ride an emotional roller coaster, they got you. Right? Because you don't have a purpose that's greater than any individual. And the moment you get a purpose that's greater than any individual, the way you live your life will totally change. The way you do things will totally change. Your perspective will totally change. The way you go about your business in life will totally change. That Colossians 3:23 is a cold thing. Because now everything you're involved in, you look at it totally different. And once you change your mind, you can change your life. The way you change when you look at things, the way you change when you speak about things, that changes your life. You see, a lot of people, they can't see things, right? They can't see things clearly. And so sometimes they can be in the midst of a situation, and all they have to do is get through that situation. All they have to do is look at that situation different. Meaning, when I was in that 2-bedroom home, 14 individuals, yeah, every night I slept on the floor with roaches and rats. But every morning I would be at the bus stop with my cousins, and I would tell them, I would say, man, when I become a man, we will never sleep on the floor with roaches and rats. Because I didn't see my situation, I saw my destination. But I'll never forget, I prided myself on hard work. Because that was something that didn't cost me a thing. And every individual possesses it, all they have to do is activate it. And I'll never forget, I had my father, me and my father, we had a little strange relationship coming up. And what I mean by strange relationship, I was that kid, I was growing up, and I had most of my uncles living in that 2-bedroom home. So it's about 8 of them, and 8 of them, they were in and out of prison. They still are in and out of prison. You know, they're going in for 10, they're going in for 8, they're coming out, they're doing the same thing, they're going back to prison. And so I had my uncle, and he showed me lessons about hard work, and he was about the only one making an honest living and taking care of his family. And so I had my father, and they told me, they said, man, your father, he's really good at sports. My father's name is still not on my birth certificate until this day. And so they said, man, your father, he's really good at sports. And so I said, can you take me to meet him? I asked my Uncle JJ, can you take me to meet my father? I want to meet him. He took me to meet him. I said, man, what's up, man? I heard you're pretty good at sports. And we started chopping it up for a little bit. I said, man, well, can you do this for me? Can you pick me up every Friday night after a game? And can you take me to your house to spend the night? And can we get up the next morning and you work me out? And you can bring me back home Saturday. Can you do that? I said, I got you. He would pick me up on a Friday night, and Saturday mornings we were up at 4:30 and we were running miles and miles to this fire station. And my father, at the time, my father didn't believe in God. My father had been mad at God his whole life. Because my father lost his mother when he was 14 years old to cancer. And so I'll never forget it. Me and my pops would be out and we would run miles and miles to this fire station. And so one morning we got up at around 4 o'clock. And back then I was a little younger, didn't have to stretch as much. So I could get out, I could shake my legs out, and we could take off. Now I can't do that. But we'd get out there and we'll get ready. And one morning he said, son, I need you to pull that other person outside of you. And he would always say it, and so I would always give him a head nod and we would get ready to work because I love the process. I love the thought of getting up in the morning, chasing my goals and chasing my dreams. They're mine. I'm responsible for it. I'm not placing it in anybody else's hands. If I want something, I'm willing to work for what I prayed for. Yeah. And so my father didn't have to drag me out of the house. My father said, hey, get up now. I'm already at the line waiting on you. Let's go. And so he said, son, I want you to pull that other person outside of you today. And so I gave him a head nod. I said, yes, sir. And he didn't get beside me. He kept pacing in front of me. He said, son, I want you to pull that other person outside of you today. I said, yes, sir. Let's go. He kept pacing. Son, I need you to pull that other person outside of you there. So at this point, I'm frustrated. I stepped back. I said, what other person? I said, there's nobody else out here but me and you. It's pitch black. Nobody else out here. I don't see another person. I said, man, if you don't want to work, just tell me you don't want to work. I just take off by myself. You're trying to talk your way out of this thing. It's pitch black. It's dark. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's go. Are you about to work or not? Either I'm about to go or not. He said, Ink, I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me clearly. He said, son, no matter how hard you work, there's somebody inside of you that works even harder. He said, no matter how dedicated you are, there's somebody inside of you that's more dedicated. No matter how committed you are, there's somebody inside of you that's more committed. But here's the catch. I need you to pull that other person outside of you, not just in the game of football, not just in the things you like, not just in the things that are convenient. Son, I need you to pull that other person outside of you in every aspect of your life. Meaning I need you to give everything you got to every aspect of your life, because here's what's going to happen. One day you're going to hit a certain piece of opposition. One day you're going to hit a certain piece of adversity. One day you're going to hit a certain piece of trial and tribulation. And your strength alone won't do it. You have to learn to pull from another place. You have to have a greater purpose to why you do what you do. You have to have a greater source of inspiration and motivation in why you get up every day. And so if you give everything you got to everything you're involved in, you create a certain individual on the inside. Come on now. And when you hit that opposition, you pull that other person out and you say, I'm not quitting. When you hit that trial and tribulation, you pull that other person out of you and say, I'm not giving up. When you hit that trial and tribulation, you pull that other person out of you and you embrace it. And you not only use it to make you a better person, you use it to make everybody around you strong. You see, we live in a selfish world. We live in a selfish world to where people, if there's no benefit for them, they don't want nothing to do with it. And so they approach things with the mindset of, what's in it for me? What have you done for me lately? Instead of saying, man, I'm going to just give everything I got. And there just might be a person over there that's watching to see how I'm going to respond to this situation, and it may just free that person. Yeah, come on now. One of my greatest moments in life was when I was having a book signing, and I was backing up and I was about to leave, and a guy, he came rushing in. He was running in, right? And so he's running in from the hood, so I don't know what he's about to try. So I'm backing up, you know, I got one bat on, but I ain't scared to fight with him. Show me what you're made out of, right? And he came running in, and so I backed up a little bit. And he stopped a couple feet away from me, breathing hard. I said, what's up, man? What's up, you doing all right? He said, yeah, man, I'm good. He said, man, I just want to tell you something. He said, man, because of your attitude towards your situation, because of how you handled your situation, because I saw you on the news and you said, man, yeah, I know I got a paralyzed right arm and hand, but you know what? God is still good and somebody has it a lot worse than me. He said, man, life had gotten really tough for me. He said, I'm a father, I got kids. He said, I got a wife. And he said, life had gotten so tough, I was about to walk out on my wife and my kids. And he said, when I saw that interview, that made me stand and fight. He said, now me and my wife and my kids, man, we're out of that storm and we're doing great. That's one of my greatest moments in life. But when my father told me that, it took my mindset to another level. And so now I was at Krim High School, and some of you all may know about Krim High School, some of you all may not, but at the time when I was at Krim High School, the dropout rate was higher than the graduation rate. The name of it was Krim High School. They used to call it Crime High in Atlanta. People weren't just going to college in and out of there. We had a lot of great athletes that came through there. Some guys that got caught up in the streets, some guys, some other things happened, but we had something to go, a while ago. But it was a great program, all things considered. And so I was at Krim and I wanted a scholarship really bad. And so here I was, this kid, and I'll never forget, I encountered a police officer one day when he first put the metal detectors in there, right? He put the metal detectors in there because we was having a lot of things going on that weren't supposed to be going on. And I'll never forget, one morning I walked through the metal detector and the man said, little man, what's your plan? I said, my plan is to go D1. He said, D1, what's that? I said, Division I, college, football, I'm going to Division I. He said, nah. I had dreads at the time. He said, nah. He said, you might end up at cell block, D1. I said, nah. You got the wrong one. And my freshman year, I played at Krim High School, four-sport athlete. At the end of my freshman year, my mother and father came to me. They had this sweet deal, Brother Stanley. Had a sweet deal, right? Had a sweet deal. They said, Ink, listen, man, we got a sweet deal for you. Coaches across town, Tucker High School, they approached us. They said, now, all you have to do is play your next 3 years at Tucker High School. Coaches guarantee you a scholarship to the University of Georgia. All you have to do is do what you love. Football scholarship to the University of Georgia. Nobody in our family has ever been to college. I said, Mom and Dad, I really appreciate the offer, but I think I can make it from Krim. They said, Ink, the chance of that happening, man, is slim to none. I said, yeah, but I think I can do it. I think I can make it from Krim High School. My father said, Ink, it's gonna be really hard, man. I said, yeah, but I think I can do it. And so I called him on the action. I said, Mom, this is why we were in the park when I was 7 years old and you sat in that Buick Regal with your car lights on, right? I said, Pops, this is why we got up at 4:30 on Saturday mornings and ran miles and miles to that fire station. When you would drift off, I would look back at you and say, son, keep going. There's nobody working right now but me, you, and Michael Jordan. And whether that was true or not, I believed it, right? They said, yeah, but at the end of the day, what do you think they did? They transferred my little butt anyway. But I couldn't blame them because they really had my best interest at heart and they wanted me to go to college. And so I got over to Tucker High School in the first football game. I'll never forget it. I caught a bubble pass. I cut it up. I ran for about 10 yards. I got caught at the bottom of the pile. And so the guys kept folding on top of me. And I loved the game of football. I loved it. You see, when most guys would step on the field, they would say, man, you see that girl in the stands? Man, you see all the people in the stands? I would step out on the field and I would say, man, I love the way this grass smells. I love the way the grass smells. That's a different mindset. It's like you walking into your office at work and say, man, I love the way this office smells. They're going to look at you like you done lost your mind. But I really did. I love that. Now, I'll never forget, I was at the bottom of the pile and yelling to the guys. I said, man, get up, man, get up. Let's go, man, let's play. The guys kept falling. I was so small, I couldn't move anybody out of the way. And so before I knew it, one of the guys had grabbed my ankle and I felt him when he grabbed it. I said, man, no. And he twisted it. He tore the ligaments in my ankle, put me out for the season, put me in a wheelchair. Got out of the wheelchair, I was on crutches. After the season, I went back to my parents. I said, will you please transfer me back to Krim High School? My father, nope, nope. You stand at Tucker High School, now all you have to do is play your next 2 years. You have a scholarship to the University of Georgia. I said, Mom, would you please transfer me back? My father wasn't in the church at the time, my mother was. And so I went to my pastor. I go to St. Matthew's Baptist Church, a small church on the east side of Atlanta. So I went to my pastor. I said, Pastor, listen. I said, man, you got to meet with my mother. I have to get back to Krim High School. I'll never forget. He said, Ink, let me stop you right there. He said, I know you want to get back to your little hood. He said, I know you want to get back to your little homeboys and your little homegirls. He said, but son, let me tell you something. If I was to go to everybody in your family right now and ask them for $100, nobody could give it to me. He said, son, all you have to do is stay at that school now. Your next 2 years, they have guaranteed you a scholarship to the University of Georgia. All you have to do is do what you love. And now you want to go back to a place where the dropout rate is higher than the graduation rate. Now you want to go back to a place where you don't even have water bottles. You drink out of the opposing team's water hose. You want to go back to that place. And I looked at him, I said, I have to get back. And he set up a meeting, and this was the only thing I heard in the meeting. Him and my mother, they talked a lot, but this was the only thing I heard when he said, Ruby, listen. He said, if it is in God's plans, not your plans. If it is in God's plans, not your plans. For Inky to go to college, Inky will go to college. You can't make that happen. She transferred me back to Crim High School, the first football game my junior year. Break my clavicle. Out for the season again. And so now at this point, I was that cat in the hood. I was going to corner drug dealers hanging out. I would say, man, I'm going to be the one to change the way that people think about this neighborhood. I would say, I'm going to be the one to put Crim High School on the map. I'm going to be the one to change my family situation. And so now, back when I was coming out of high school, your junior year was the year college scouts come in, recruit you, evaluate your tape, see if they wanted to offer you a scholarship. My junior year had no scholarship offers. And so now when I would be hanging out in the hood, the cats would come up to me and they would say, Ink, let us get this right. Aren't you the same cat that said you want to change your family situation? I would say, yeah. They would say, Ink, let us get this right. Aren't you the same cat that said you were going to put Crim High School on the map? I would say, yeah. They would say, Ink, let us get this right. Aren't you the same cat that said you were going to change the way that people thought about Kirkwood? I would say, yeah. They would say, your future's not looking so bright. They would say, maybe you graduate high school, end up on one of these corners selling dope like your uncle's going in and out of prison. They got really discouraged. It's kind of like that quote that says, people too weak to follow their own dreams will always find a way to discourage you from following yours. They're too weak to do it. They don't want you to do it. It has nothing to do with you. You see, but my grandmother told me something when I was 139 pounds. I used to wear a 5X white t-shirt to school. I was 139 pounds. My Uncle Johnny had been trapping all night. The next morning I would walk to him and I would take his 5X white t-shirt off. He's a big cat. I would take his 5X white t-shirt off and I would wear that white t-shirt to school and drop below my knees. And I saw the way some people looked at me and I saw the way some people laughed at me and, you know, I got discouraged, man. And I'm gonna be honest, in high school I was a fighter. And me and my mother had to go before the Atlanta Public School Board my junior year. And they told my mother, they said, your son get in one more fight. That joker banned from high school sports, period. He banned. No more. He ain't playing nothing. And so now the word got out. And so now I would be walking on the court, the opposing coach would come by me and say, yo daddy, a punk, yo daddy, this and that, yo mama, this and that, and I would have to bite my tongue. And so I got mad, and so people would talk about me, and so I got mad when I went to my grandmother, because my grandmother, she has this peace. You know how grandmother has a peace in the middle of a storm, and you want to possess that? And she got faith in the middle of the storm, and you want that? One of the strongest people I know. And so I went to my grandmother one day and said, Grandma, I'm having some problems, all right? And I said, I don't want to do anything that can mess up my future. I don't want to do anything that can mess up my chances of going to college. She said, Ink, what's up? What's going on? I said, man, people are talking about me. People are talking trash to me. People are bothering me. People are messing with me. She said, what are they saying? I said, some people are talking about me wearing that 5X white t-shirt to school. I'm 139 pounds. Some people are just talking trash. She said, so let me tell you something. She said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to use it as fuel to your fire. And also, never let someone's opinion of you become your reality. And so now from that point moving forward, I knew what to do with everybody's opinion, but my situation still said different. My situation, I was facing the odds. My situation said, Ink, yeah, I know you want to go to college, but you have been injured the first game of your past 2 years. Son, nobody's coming into Crim High School to see you. And so I'll never forget that summer heading into my senior year ball, God sent this amazing man, this amazing coach by the name of Darren Miles to Crim High School. I'm a firm believer that God will strategically place people in all of our lives in order to help us to become the individuals that He wants us to become and get to the places that He wants us to go. And God sent this amazing man, this amazing coach to Crim High School, Darren Miles. And at the time, I had switched up my dream. And so I'll never forget, he called me one summer day and I was playing AAU basketball at the time. And so before I left out of the house, my auntie Cookie said, you going to practice? I said, yeah. And the phone rung and she said, Ink, it's for you. There was a coach on the line. And I went and got the phone and there was Coach Miles. He said, Ink, what's up, man? I said, what's up, Coach? I heard you're the new football coach. He said, yeah, I am. He said, I heard you were a great athlete. I said, oh, okay. He said, why aren't you coming to practice? I said, oh, Coach, man, my dream changed. I'm going to the NBA, baby. I'm going to the NBA, man. I'm done. that right? I said, yes, sir. He said, you know what? He said, Ink, I heard you can do it, man. He said, I heard you can play basketball. I said, yes, sir, I can play a little bit. He said, as a matter of fact, I heard you average over 30 points per game as a point guard. Is that right? I said, yes, sir, you got the right guy. He said, well, while you're at it, smart guy, I want you to do a little research for me. He said, I want you to run your little butt up the Kirkwood Library. I want you to look on every NBA roster. You tell me how many 5'9", 139-pound point guards you see. He said, then I want you to look on every NFL roster, and you tell me how many 5'9" cornerbacks you see. You give me a call back in the morning. I hung up the phone, looked at my auntie. I said, I haven't even met this cat. He's trying to kill my dream. I sprinted to the library. I got on the computer. I looked on every NBA roster twice. I didn't see one 5'9" point guard. I looked on NFL rosters, so 5'9" corner. I ran back home that day. I gave Coach a call. He picked up the phone. He said, what did you think? I said, I'll be at practice tomorrow. He said, make a long story short, I went out, I made it past the first game, that was a plus. Had a really strong senior season, but after my senior season, there was still two problems. I wasn't qualified to get into college, and I hadn't passed my Georgia high school graduation test. And so now college scouts would come to see me and they would say, man, you're quick, man, you're fast, man, you're tough, man, you can play ball, but son, we're not talking about college here. You're not even in position to graduate high school. And so I would beg and plead with the scouts. I would say, man, just offer me a scholarship. I'm doing what I have to do in order to make it. I will make it. Just offer me a scholarship. They would say, Ink, it doesn't work that way. And so I'm the type of guy, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I may not know how I'm going to do it at that moment, but if I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to get it done. And whatever I have to go through in order to get it done, I'm willing to go through it. Whatever has to come with it, I'm willing to accept whatever has to come with it. And so I would tell the scouts, man, I'm picking up extra tutorial sessions. Man, I will make it, man, just offer me a scholarship. They would say, Ink, it doesn't work that way. And I will never forget that a scout from Georgia Tech, he set up a meeting with me, my mother, and my father. And so I'll never forget, I thought it was that moment, right? I thought it was that moment. I said, man, I'm going to go to Tech. And so my mother and father were so excited, they beat me to the school that morning. And so I'll never forget, I went into my grandmother and my grandfather's room that morning. My grandfather had been in a wheelchair his whole life, no legs. My grandmother's sitting there on the edge of the bed with a Bible like usual. And I said, Grandma, I said, today I have a meeting with Georgia Tech University. I said, Georgia Tech is downtown Atlanta. We're right here in the city of Atlanta. And so you all will get the opportunity to see me play ball. She smiled. She said, go get him, Ink. I walked out of that house. I walked to school that day. Had my chest out, you know, I had my head up high. I'm passing the cats on the corner. I'm like, yeah, today is the day. When I got at school, I'm going to tell you cats, I'm going D1. Get to the meeting, my mother smiled, my father, he's sitting there, you see him happy. And the scouts sit down, he got my transcripts and the qualifications that it takes to get into Georgia Tech. We weren't in the meeting, 3 minutes. He stood up, looked at my mother, he shifted. Looked at my father, he shifted. He stopped at me. I was sitting there, I'm like, go ahead, man, say it, let's go. Out of his mouth, he said, man, there's no way that you make it to college. So he just wasted my time. I looked down, I saw my mother's head drop. I saw my father's head drop. I stood up right behind him, I looked at my mother and my father, I said, I guarantee you your hard work will not go in vain. I guarantee you. Let me show you how God works. The next week at Crim High School, the same day of the week, me and all the seniors were sitting in the big classroom, I was sitting in the back. In walked my head football coach. He said, everybody be quiet. He said, do you guys know who this is? He presented him as a gift, and to the left of him stood Philip Foreman, head football coach, University of Tennessee Volunteers. And so Coach Foreman, he stepped up, you know, he pulled his crowd up. He's like, yeah, I know y'all know me, I'm that guy, I'm the man. And the cats looked up, they looked at him. I said, nope, I don't know that cat. And they went back to talking. I was sitting in the back of the room beside my friend Leslie Giles, I tapped him on his leg. I said, man, that's Philip Foreman, head football coach, University of Tennessee Volunteers. He said, who? I said, man, Philip Foreman, checkerboard end zone, man. I said, Ink, I don't know what you're talking about, but I hope you get a scholarship and you get out of here. Went back to my head coach's office, we took a seat. Coach Philip Foreman looked me dead square in my eyes and said, Ink, I want to offer you a full scholarship to the University of Tennessee. I wasn't even qualified to get a job. So when God got something for you, can't nobody stop it. And I got a little scared. I said, Coach, man, maybe he don't know my situation. I said, Coach, you know, I'm sitting there, it happened so fast, I got a little shook. I said, Coach, I said, you know my situation, right? Like, I wasn't even in position to graduate high school. I had like 2 more tests I had to take. I'm all messed up, right? I said, Coach, you know my situation, right? He said, yeah, I know your situation, I believe in it. He said, I'll see you in the summer. I said, Coach, I'm coming, man. He said, Ink, I don't even think you understand how this process works. He said, son, first you take an official visit up to Nashville, you see the city, hang out with the coaches and the players, and then you make your decision if you're coming. I said, Coach, I don't think you understand. I said, but I'll take a visit, and I took a visit. I got uptown on that Saturday because I had a basketball game that Friday night. And I'll never forget, I got up and they took me to Calhoun's off the river and came out. My host was Jason Swain at the time, and so we come out of the restaurant. He like, Ink, man, we're about to have a big night, man. There's a sorority party, there's a barbecue, there's a basketball game. Which one do you want to go to? I said, man, if you don't mind, can you take me back to my hotel room? I'm staying at the Marriott, we off of Summit Hill. He said, what? He said, man, I don't know if you ever been to a college sorority party, but it get pretty wild, and it's a barbecue and it's a basketball game. We can go to all 3 if you like. I said, nah, man, cool. You can take me to my hotel room. He said, okay, I'll still get my stipend. So we pull up to the Marriott and I'm getting out of the car, right? And as I'm getting out of the car, he said, hold up. He said, man, are you sick? I said, nah, man, I'm not sick. You see what Swain didn't know about that moment? My first time being in the room, my own bed, king. I didn't care nothing about those sorority parties. I got up in that room, I hit my boy back in Kirkwood. I said, boy, y'all ain't gonna believe this. I said, y'all boys gotta go to college. They don't know. I don't know about that college. I said, boy, you get your own king-size bed. And the next day, I went to Coach Phillip Foreman. I still do this until this day when I see that man because I'm forever grateful. Because he broke a generational curse in my family. And I extended my hand to him and I shook his hand and I gave him a hug and I said, thank you. I said, not only for changing my life, but for changing countless others' lives back in Kirkwood that you know nothing about. I said, because coming from where I come from, we didn't see this happening every day. And so when I got back to Kirkwood, I went to them cats and said, I told you guys, man, I told you cats I was going to college. And so now everybody's response was, Ink, why did you go back to Crim High School? Why did you take the role as traveling? Why did you go back where the dropout rate was higher than the graduation rate? You had an easier route. Why didn't you just stay at Tucker High School and go? I said, man, you guys are missing the boat. I said, because the thing that happened, I got a chance to ride an airplane once when I was in high school. It was to an all-star game. Now, I'll never forget, I went into the restroom, and as I was leaving out of the restroom, there was this sign on the wall, and that sign said, as common courtesy to the person that's coming behind you, can you wipe the sink out and leave it better than you found it? Well, as common courtesy to the kids that were coming behind me from high school, I was about to leave it better than I found it. Whatever sacrifice, whatever dedication I was going to do. You see, every night I slept on that floor, I had my 3 little cousins that slept on that same floor as me. And every night in the midst of roaches and rats, I'm talking about some big roaches and rats too. Every night in the midst of roaches and rats, you know what I had in my hand? I had that first football that I ever caught from my Uncle JJ. And I would toss that football up in the air and I would catch it. And I would look at my little cousin Lennon and I would say, boy, wait until I make it to the NFL. This gonna be trouble. And he would have his basketball, he would flip it up in the air, he would say, Ink, I can't wait until I make it to the NBA, man, it's gonna be trouble. And the one beside him would have his baseball, he would flip it up in the air, he would say, Ink, I can't wait until I make it to the major leagues, it's gonna be trouble, man. And so the thing I knew personally in my spirit, I could have easily went across town, Tucker High School, went on to the University of Georgia, great story, first generation college student, but I still had to come back into Kirkwood. And the thing I knew, if I would've went to Georgia and came back into Kirkwood from Tucker High School, I'd ask my cousins, I would say, man, why aren't you guys doing what you have to do in order to make it to college? They would say, Ink, you went across town, we didn't have the same opportunity. So I wanted to remove any justification for any excuses. I don't believe in excuses. I don't believe in you're a product of your environment. No, you're a product of your decisions and your choices. Every day you wake up. Every day you wake up, regardless of what you're going through, regardless of what has happened to you, regardless of the hand that life has dealt you, every day you wake up, one of the most powerful things that we possess as people is the ability to have a choice. Yes. And every day we wake up, we have a choice of the attitude that we will embrace toward life and the perspective that we will see life with. And as a result of me going back to Crim High School and going to college with all my 3 little cousins did, man, it could be done. And all 3 of them got up off of that same floor and they went to college and they graduated. And now they serve in the Army. That's why I went back to Crim High School. You see, every day you wake up, 2 words should come to mind: honor and legacy. Honor the ones that paved the way for you. Leave a legacy for the ones that's coming behind you. Every decision shouldn't just be about you. Because if you go through life and you live a selfish life, what's going to happen is that adversity is going to come. Murphy's Law is going to come. And if you haven't been living life the way that you're supposed to live life, the moment that you hit adversity, the thing that adversity always does, every time, adversity will introduce you into who you really are as a person. Amen. And for some people, adversity introduces them into the person that they knew all along. For some people, adversity introduces them into a person that they never knew before. And they're sitting there, instead of saying, why me, instead of saying, try me, instead of saying, man, why did this have to happen to me, instead of saying, God, thank you for trusting me with the situation, they respond in a different way. You see, the thing about adversity, when you go through adversity to a certain magnitude, God has to trust you with that adversity that you will handle it in the right way. You see, people never understood when I said, thank you, God, for trusting me with this situation. Because he wouldn't take you through something of such magnitude if he didn't trust you to use it in the right way. If it's tough to battle to a strong soldier, you're not going to just go through something if he does not trust you with that, to handle it in the right way, to use it in the right way, to be a blessing to other people. That's what life is about, man. That's what frees people. It's not about you going through something and you wallowing in your sorrow. It's about you facing it, and that person over there that's looking at you saying, man, if he can deal with it in that way, if he can deal with it in that way, if he can still smile about it and say, man, God is good, so can I. That's what life is about. When I got up to that University of Tennessee, I had got up to around 153 pounds. Soaking wet. Feeling good. First Johnson, and they made it out. It was such a big deal, right? My grandmother, she still sit on the same pew at church ever since I was a little boy. And when I was going to college, right, when they found out I got a scholarship, you know, people passed the mothers at my church. We got an old school church. We still got the same pastor, right? Ever since I was a little boy, he's still hooping and hollering. He's almost 80 years old. Right, they still do the same deal, right? Ever since I was a kid. And so they got this deal to where, you know, everybody come around, it's the mothers over there. So they got the hats on, you know, they dressed up, they got the gloves, right? And they sitting over, it's about 2-3 rows of them. Everybody get up and they walk by the mothers and they shake their hands and they give them a hug. Oh, hey, mother, how you doing? And so when my grandma found out I was going to college, everybody that came by Daisy Johnson, hey, Miss Daisy Johnson, hey, baby, you know Inky going to college. You know my grandson Inky going to that University of Tennessee, don't you? They saw my mom, right? They catch her at the beauty shop. They catch her somewhere. Hey, Miss Ruby, hey, you know my son. They see my little cousin. Hey, man, how y'all boys doing? Hey, man, we doing great. Man, you know our big cousin Inky going to college, right? It was a big deal. And so when I got up to college, I was feeling good about myself, and I'll never forget the first media day, an article came out, and that article read, Mr. No-Star has made it to the SEC, basically saying that nobody had made it to the SEC. How did this happen? You see, I wasn't ranked by rival. I didn't have all the accolades. The only thing I had was my last name and my work ethic. And so the cats in my class, they were laughing. They said, Ink, have you seen this? I said, no, let me see it. Give it to me. And I held it up and I said, Mr. No-Star, the cat that came from that 2-bedroom home, 14 individuals. Mr. No-Star, the cat that slept on that floor. Mr. No-Star, the cat that was in the park with his mother when I was 7 years old. And she sat in that beer creek and I took it and I folded it up and I put it in my back pocket. That same day, we were walking to Neyland Stadium and they used to make us walk in this straight line. Right? And so we're walking, and out of the blue came this reporter. He had his little bag on, he had his little camera around his neck, he had his pen and his pad out. So he's walking up to us, and I thought to myself, I said, sure enough, this guy's not coming to talk to me. I'm Mr. No-Star. You got Gerard Mayo in the class, middle linebacker for the Patriots, first round 10th pick. You got Robert Ayers in the class, first round 18th pick to the Denver Broncos, now he plays for the New York Giants. You had Ramon Foster in the class, starting guard Pittsburgh Steelers. You had all these high-profile guys. And sure enough, as this guy got closer, he was coming directly to me. You see, I was that cat. When I first hit campus, we would go out and people would see the football players. They would say, man, it's the football player. Man, Gerard Mayo, man, Robert Ayers. They would get to me and say, man, what do you play? I said, I swear. Put the spotlight on, right? They put the spotlight on. And sure enough, this cat came directly up to me and he said, Inky Johnson. I said, yes, sir, what you got? I was raised to show respect. Yes, sir, what you got? He said, man, do you even think you're going to play at the University of Tennessee? I said, you made a mistake. I said, I would start at the University of Tennessee. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you can measure the height of a man, you can measure the weight of a man. I said, you can't measure a man's heart. And he started laughing and he walked off. Made me hot as fish grease, too. I wanted to box him out there, right? At the media day, everybody got dressed and they went home, and I went into the football complex and I was putting on my cleats and my workout clothes, and I was sitting there, and my friend Gerard Mayo came in. It was pitch black in the football complex. He said, "Ink, what you doing, man? Let's go to the dorm, man. It's dark." I said, "Nah, man, I'm going to work." He said, "Man, it's dark. Go to work in the morning, man. Let's go." I said, "Nah, man, I'm going to work." He said, "Man, did you let what that reporter say get to you? Man, that cat probably never played liquor football in his life." I said, "Nah, man." I said, "Man, I'm just going to work." Really, it had gotten to me. And I went out on that turf and I went to perfecting my craft, and I envisioned everybody that ever believed in me. And I was working out hour after hour, and I looked up at the clock and it was around 1:30 in the morning. And the custodian came out to the church toward me. He said, "Son, what are you still doing out here? Aren't you supposed to be over in the dorm sleep?" I said, "Sir, no disrespect, I have this dream that I'm chasing that I have to make take shape in my life. Have a family that's really dependent on me in Atlanta." You see, I'm from the hood, for real. And I left Atlanta, Georgia. My family said, "There goes our meal ticket," meaning if Inky Johnson don't make it, we don't eat. And so every night I would leave study hall at 10:30. I would sprint over to the indoor football facility, last door on the left, sprint across that turf, into the locker room, work out till about 11:30, 12, every night faithfully, except on Friday nights we'd be standing in the Crown Plaza getting ready for the game on Saturdays. Freshman year came, played little special teams. Sophomore season came, guess what happened, Coach Hackman? I messed around and broke that starting lineup. I looked for that reporter every Tuesday immediately. I never saw him again in my life. I showed up looking for where that cat at. He hadn't been back. But I went on and had a strong sophomore season, and so the summer heading into my junior year, man, I had got as strong as I'd ever been in my life. I had bench pressed one time. I maxed out 325 one time. I ran a 4.38 in the 40 one time. I was cat-like quick. I can cover anybody, man. I was a student of the game. I was on track to graduate in 3 years. I was feeling myself, man. I had been discipled spiritually my sophomore season, so I had gotten to the point, finally, to where my life felt as if it was in shape. Everything was coming together. Now, I'll never forget, before our first football game, I called my mother and my grandmother on the three-way. I said, "After this season, our lives are about to change forever. There will be no more struggling. There will be no more ropes and rats. After this season, our lives are about to change forever." And little did I know, our lives were really about to change. I'll never forget, we went out our first game. We played against California Bears, and our team, man, we executed all phases of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. We went out, we got the victory. I got an interception, a couple big hits, a couple pass breakups. Everything went great. Second game, we're playing against the University of Air Force. These guys that needed supposed to be on the schedule. Coach agreed to put them on the schedule at the last minute. Found ourselves in a dogfight. Fourth quarter rolled around. Air Force, they came out, they scored, they onside kicked the ball. Guess to who? Me. I jumped for it, I missed it. A guy on Air Force team laid me out. Air Force recovered. Now they got the ball going for the winning drive in Neyland Stadium. Major upset alert. I'm mad, I'm frustrated. We go in the huddle on defense, middle linebacker called quarters coverage. Ready to break. I said, "Guys, get back in here." I said, "Listen, whoever gets the ball on Air Force's team, let me get it." I said, "Let me hit it." I said, "I'm gonna hit him, I'm gonna break his spirit, I'm gonna make him fumble, I will recover the fumble, I'll run it for a touchdown. I guarantee you, this will be the end of the story." Gerard Mayo looked at me and said, "Ink, you want the rest of us just go to the sideline? We'll make the play by yourself?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm feeling that type of way right now." And for some reason, this play started to unfold as slow and as clear as I'd ever seen a football play unfold in my life. I'll never forget the snap of the ball. I saw a left defensive end. He came off the ball. Robert Ayers made a quick move on the tackle. He had a clear shot at the quarterback. I went running forward with my arm in the air. I said, "Man, that's a sack." Oh, my roommate, I know Rob. At the last minute, the quarterback sidestepped him and missed him. Immediately, my eyes shifted to the will linebacker. I saw the running back come behind the line of scrimmage. The running back crossed my will linebacker's face. That let me know my will linebacker's eyes got caught inside. He had busted. So at this point, the running back was coming down my sideline. My eyes shifted immediately to the quarterback. The quarterback was releasing the ball to the running back coming down my sideline. And before I took off, I said, "Thank you, God. I got exactly what I asked for." Be careful what you ask for. He just might give it to you. And I approached it the way that I always approached anything in my life. And the way I approached the tackle, I was so small, I couldn't size anybody up. I couldn't come in there with like EB coming there, he gonna knock your block off, right? I couldn't come in there, I gotta find a way to get you, right? I was so small, he liable to run me over. And so I was looking at the cat, I said, "Man, I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna just go for the gusto. Whatever happens, happens." But at the point of contact, when I hit this guy, something different happened that had never happened to me before in my life. I hit this guy and it seemed as if every breath in my body left. My body went completely limp, fell to the ground and I blacked out. My eyes open, my teammates running over to me. They said, Ink, get up, let's go, man. I said, I can't. They said, what do you mean you can't, man? You always get up, let's go. I said, I know, man, but this time I can't. I said, there's just shock going through my whole body. I can't feel anything. One of the scariest moments of my life. The shock eventually left, but it stayed in my right arm and hand. I remember as I was lying there, I flipped my head to the left. I saw the doctors and the trainers running onto the field. I flipped my head up to the sky. I said, God, I said, surely nothing has happened in this moment that could alter my life. I flipped my head back over to the left. I saw them bring the spine board up. I flipped my head back up to the sky. I said, God, I said, they have to do that, right? I said, that's precautionary, man. They get me up on the spine board. They're wheeling me off the field. We get to about midfield. I looked at the doctor. I couldn't feel my right arm and hand. So I said, Doc, can you raise my right arm and hand up? He said, sure, Ink. I lifted my left and the crowd said, Inky Johnson. And I pumped my left fist to the supporter. I said, Doc, you could bring it down. And as he was bringing my arm and hand down, I'll never forget, I looked at him. I said, oh, yeah. I said, I'll be back. Never thinking that would be my last game at Neyland Stadium. They rolled me to the ambulance. My father was waiting there. I looked up. I said, Pops, did I get it? I said, yeah, son, but I think you got the worst part of it. They got me in the ambulance. They rolled me over to UT Medical. They took me back. They ran some CAT scans, and they brought me back into my room, and all in a 15-second time frame. I'll never forget it. I saw my father. He stepped in, and he looked at me. He shook his head, and he walked out. My mother, she came into the room. She said a quick prayer by my bedside, and she walked out. And as soon as she walked out, the doctor walked in and said, hey, get in here, we gotta rush this guy back to surgery, he's about to die. And I said, what? I said, what happened? And son, what happened? You have busted up some clavien artery in your chest, you're bleeding internally, we have to rush you back, take the main vein out of your left leg and plug it into your chest in order to save your life. When I opened my eyes from recovery from that surgery, the same doctor was standing over me and said, son, got some good news and some bad news for you. I said, you got some bad news for me? I tell me I'm about to die. How bad can it get? I'm still here, right? He said, yeah. He said, the good news is we saved your life. He said, the bad news is you have nerve damage in your right shoulder. We don't know how much. He said, we got to send you up to the Mayo Clinic, see a team of nerve specialists. I was like, all right, cool. He's like, well, son, you probably can never play the game of football again. Nah. You see, I respected the doctor, I respected his expertise, but I had been through adversity before. See, I said nothing against this doctor, but this doctor wasn't in the park with me and my mother when I was 7 years old and she was sitting at Big Regal. Nothing against this doctor, but that doctor didn't come up in Kirkwood. Nothing against this doctor, but I had missed meals before. I remember being a kid, waking up on Christmas at my Uncle JJ house, and I'll never forget, my Uncle JJ had work. He bought me and my cousin Tamar in black and white, and blue and white Deion Sanders. I'll never forget it. Right? And me and Tamar used to be out in the street racing, and when my Uncle JJ bought us in black and white and blue and white Deion Sanders, and we used to sleep in the living room on a pallet, right? Y'all know the pallets, right? We sleep on the floor of the pallets, right? And so that Christmas Eve, me and Tamar, we kept running into the other room. We're looking at them Deions, woo, boy, it's fake. And come back, came back in there, woo, boy, smoky and them Tamar. Came back in there. Jones was gone. And then came through the one that took everything. I had been through adversity before. Nothing had ever stopped me. I remember when me and my mother and them, we stayed behind Kirkwood Post Office, and I'll never forget it, that night we were sitting in the living room, and my mom, she was sitting there, and she said, Ink, take this glass in the kitchen. And you know, it's dark and it's late, and I took the glass, and I put it in the kitchen. Boom. I ran back in there with my mom, and I heard it drop. And she said, go get it. I said, I ain't going back in there. She said, boy, go get the glass. Go pick the glass up. I said, well, I ain't going back in there. Dog, I'm late. I'm a little boy. She said, boy, go get the glass. All right, I go back in there. I went back in there and the whole kitchen was on fire. Now, I'll never forget, they had to rally everybody up, and I was standing out in the parking lot. I'll never forget it, and I watched my uncle. They took my grandfather, they tossed him off the porch, and the other one's car, and my Uncle Sammy came off the porch. There was a cat running from behind the house, and I set our house on fire behind the throne, get out of the bag. He shot him. I remember sitting in the living room some days, and we'd be sitting there, we'd be watching cartoons, we'd be eating our Fruit Loops, and boom! Door get kicked down, boom! Red Dogs coming in there, laying everybody down. And I watched him grab my grandfather out of his wheelchair who had no legs, and stand him on his face in front of me, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him. And couldn't do nothing about it. Nothing that ever stopped me. All of that drove me, all of that propelled me to be the man that I am today. So I said, man, there's no way that my career could be over. You see, I can stand right in this church and look everyone in your face. I never cheated myself. I never came up short of a line. A coach didn't have to watch me work out. I was going to give everything I had to everything I was involved in anyway, because everything that I do, I consider it a blessing to be able to do it. I said, there's no way. You see, I was that cat. If I would be in the weight room with my teammate and I couldn't get my teammate to stay, I would do my workout. I would go to his company, take his workout, and do his workout. That's what I was on. I said, man, there's no way my career could be over. Send me up to the Mayo Clinic. My career can't be over. My mother said me off this, man. And I'll never forget the last visit at the Mayo Clinic. It was me, my mother, my father, and the doctor walked into the room and said, Uncle Johnson, here's the deal. They said, son, you have torn all the nerves in your brachial plexus. Your brachial plexus are the nerve roots that go from the spine that controls your arm and your hand. They said, you have torn them at all levels. They can't be plugged. They can't be put together. They said, son, we hate to tell you, but your arm, it will never be the same again. They said, your hand, it will never be the same again. They said, son, you can never play the game of football again. We understand prior to college, you have been a four-sport athlete your whole life. You can never play basketball again. You never play baseball again. Your arm will never be in a condition for you to run track. Because as an athlete, when they tell you, man, you can't play football, your mindset automatically shifts. You say, okay, I can't play football. I average over 30 points per game in basketball. I just go out on the hardwood. I hoop. So you can never play basketball. Okay, I played travel league baseball. I batted clean up and played center field my whole life prior to college. I'll just play baseball. Son, you can never play baseball again. Okay, I was pretty fast. I had some speed. I'll just get out on the track. Son, your arm will never be in a condition for you to run track again. What do you do when all your options get taken away in an instant? And then they proceeded to say, here are your surgery options. You can take a muscle out of the back of your left leg, plug it into your right arm, but there's a possibility that you'll be left with a weak left leg and a weak right arm the rest of your life. Or you can take a nerve out of your left arm, reroute it up through your chest, down into your right arm, but there's a possibility that you'll be left with 2 weak arms the rest of your life. Or you can take a nerve out of your left rib, reroute it up through your chest, down into your right arm, but there's a possibility that you'll be left with a breathing problem and a weak right arm the rest of your life. By the way, tell us what you want to do in the morning. I was 20 years old when that happened. I'll never forget, I walked out of that office. I don't know if anybody in this room has ever felt this way, but I tried my best to make it to my hotel room door, and it seemed as if every step I took, the burden literally got heavier and heavier until it weighed me down to the floor. I didn't even make it to my door. And I'm gonna be honest, I needed some answers, and I needed them quick, because I was in the middle of a situation that I didn't understand, that I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I needed some answers, and I needed somebody to talk to. And my mother and father, they took a seat across the hall from me, and I looked at my pops, I'll never forget. I said, man, what would you do, man? What option would you choose? What would you say? Like, what would you do? What would you say? And I'll never forget, my father dropped his head and picked his head up and he looked at me. And for the first time in my life, I saw tears rolling down my father's eyes. I never saw my father cry. You see, my father had told me my whole life, so we're Lord. You see, nothing can break us, man. Nothing can make us give up. Nothing can make us give in. There is nobody else on the face of this planet that's of the pedigree that we are. So nothing can stop us. And for the first time in my life, I saw tears rolling down my father's face. And so what registered in my mind as a green 20-year-old, I said, man, me and my father's been no longer in my heart. And he looked up at me and my father said, son, for the life of me, man, I just can't understand why bad things happen to good people. He said that two people that I consider to be good people was my mother and you, and something bad has happened to both of them. I lost my mother when I was 14 years old with cancer. He said, Ink, I remember when you were at the top of your game, and I would call you and I would say, son, are you headed to a party? Where you headed to? My papa, you're a wild boy, you get busy, right? He said, are you headed to a party? Ink, where you headed to? I said, no, man, I'm headed to Bible study. I'm headed to discipleship. And he said, man, I'll tell them to do all that they can do. And he picked his arms up and he slammed them down and he tried to break them. And I shifted and I looked at my mother and I said, Mom, what would you do? What would you say? And she was bawling. But she looked at me. And she said, son, don't you worry about it. She said, God is in control. And I looked down at my wrist in that moment. I used to wear this black bracelet. I played every game in it. I did every workout in it. I never took it off until I was a grad assistant coach over on Lane Kiffin's staff, and after the game, I gave it to a little boy. But on that bracelet that night in Rochester, Minnesota, lied conviction. That bracelet read, man of faith. You see, I was just like everybody else. You got faith? Yeah, I got faith. Big faith, big power, right? Little faith, little power. Faith and fear can't reside in the same mind. Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I knew all the faith lines, but I had yet to be placed in a situation that required me to use my faith. When I was placed in a situation that required me to use my faith, I was left questioning God. Can I be real with you? A faith that has not been tested is a faith that cannot be trusted. The next morning I got up, I went into the doctor's office. They said, son, what option are you choosing? I said, no disrespect to you, doc, I'm not choosing an option. My situation is out of your hands. They said, what do you mean your situation is out of our hands? We're some of the best doctors in the world. We're the reason that you came up here. I said, no disrespect to you, doc. My situation is out of your hands. I'm not choosing an option. Do what you have to do. I know I will come out of this okay. And as I stand right here before you today, I think I came out okay. As a matter of fact, I think I came out 10 times stronger. You see, but when I came out of that hospital, my life had changed. You see, I've been right-hand dominant my whole life. Now I can no longer use my right arm and hand. I had over 350 staples in my body. Now I had to go to people that I didn't know in public and say, hey man, can you help me tie my shoe? Now I had to get bathed by another man. Now I had to learn how to write my name all over again. But that process did something, man. That process did something, man. I'm gonna tell you what that process did. You see, me and my roommates, we had been discipled a year prior to my injury. And the most amazing thing happened. You see, from the outside looking in, everybody said, man, that cat going through it. But what they didn't know, the cats that I had in my inner circle. That's why it's so important to covenant with. Some people, they go through the struggle, they ain't got the right people around them. Amen. The cats that I had around me, when they would say, hey, how you doing, man? How you day going? I said, man, I'm tired. They would say, hey, do you remember in discipleship? I said, yeah. They would say, you remember that James chapter 1 we went over last week? I would say, yeah. They would say, you remember when they said, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith goes on to produce perseverance, and perseverance must finish its race so that you may be complete and lacking nothing, meaning you have to go through something in order to become the individual that God wants you to become. That's right. They might see me on another, they would say, Ink, man, how you doing? I say, man, I don't know how I got through this day. Man, Ink, you remember that Romans 8:28, and it starts us off with conviction, and it says, and we know, every individual in this room, and we know that all things were not some things, not most things. All things work to the good of those who love the Lord, who call according to his will and his purpose. You see, that battle was won before he was started. On the outside looking in, people say, man, how is he going to deal with it? His life has changed. And I was standing on the inside of it, and I said, thank you, God, for trusting me. Thank you for taking me through something of such magnitude. I'm grateful for it, and I know you're going to use it in an incredible way. You see, I looked at it like the Apostle Paul when he went to the Lord 3 times and he was complaining about the thorn in his flesh. And he was doing God's work, he was doing it. Everybody had that thorn in his flesh. He said, God, please take this away from me. Take this away from me. I got this thorn in my flesh and it's bothering me. I'm trying to do your work. I'm doing your work. I'm serving, man. I'm trying to be a blessing to other people. I'm trying to do the right thing. Take this thorn out of my flesh. Man, I did it right. I respected the game. I gave everything I had to it. I respected my mother. I treated people in the right way. My uncle sold drugs. I never touched drugs, man. Take this thorn out of my flesh. And God basically responded by saying, no. No. You're going to deal with it. But I'm going to tell you what. My grace is sufficient. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, when you are weak, it's then that I am strong. In other words, watch what I do with this situation through you. And not only watch what I do with this situation through you, watch what I do with this situation through you and the lives of the others around you. All I need you to do is handle it in the right way. All I need you to do is thank me for it. All I need you to do is embrace it and endure it and keep it moving, man. Because there's no situation, there's no circumstance, there's no person that is bigger than God. If a situation, if a person, if a circumstance is bigger than God, I got news for you. Your image of God is too small. You see, God is the only one that can take a test and turn it into a testimony. God is the only one that can take a mess and turn it into a message. God is the only one that can take a trial and turn it into triumph. God is the only one that can take a victim and turn him into victory. You see, I'm qualified to talk about it. You see, a lot of people talk about stuff they ain't been through. I really was in that hospital. I really heard those words. I I really had over 350 staples in my body. I really was told, you're going to be in this hospital in 30 to 45 days, and I was walking into the hospital on the third day. But it wasn't by my might, it wasn't by my power. You see, every day the thing I understand about life, things are going to happen. That's inevitable. We can't control life. The thing that we can control is how we respond. Amen. And when God said no in my life, He said no in my life. When I wanted that NFL, and I was 8 games away from it, and I thought I was strong, and I thought I was quick, and I loved that game of football, and I loved to make a tackle. I was bench pressing 325 pounds. I was running that 4.3. I was feeling that I was quick. I could cover anybody. I could call a play before it happened. I was at the top of my game, man. And I went to make that tackle. And I said, oh, God, I want that, man. I want to go to state. I want to hold that jersey, man. My mother, man, she said, fuck this, man. Just do it for my mom. Do it for my grandma, man. Do it for the people that sacrificed for me. Do it for the people that believed in me. But I didn't believe in myself. And He said, no, I'm going to take you this way. No, I'm going to take you in this direction. And I surrendered, and I said, one of the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. You see, life done punched me a couple times. But this is what I did. When life hit me, I stumbled a little bit, and I came back. Life hit me again. I stumbled a little bit. I caught myself. I looked at it and I said, that's all you got. You in trouble. Because greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world.